toy that exists for things of this nature. Ultimately, we could take a lot of time and go into our kind of big areas here and kind of fill in a lot of detail with our turret here and really give it a nice kind of, hard-edged, heavy industrial, militarized, kind of grimy kind of feel. But what I'm going to do is we're going to actually kind of play with a plugin, which is pretty cool. And we're going to be using a plugin called Greebler. And if none of you are familiar with it, it's a cool little thing. It's going to help really kind of make a lot of this surface pop here. But if you go to his website, I believe if I pronounce this right, it's Kurayumi's development zone. And you can see the URL here. Definitely check it out. It's well worth it, and it's relatively cheap too. And I'm gonna show you why here. So let me get this out of here. And let's go to our plugins. Let's go to our Greebler and select it right there. And since I'm just gonna be working on the main base here. I'm gonna drop that into our little guy here and plop him in there, and you'll see right away you get a lot of good results. Not perfect, but thankfully we have plenty of control over this. So let's just kind of see what we're looking at here. We have our Greebler plugin, and there's a lot of elements here. You're like, wow, this is really adding to it, and it is, and we're going to continue with this, but we have the control of taking some of these shapes out. We can definitely kind of play with our, I'm going to turn on my my lines here so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. We can definitely kind of minimize some of this stuff here so it's not so in your face, and some of the lengths and whatnot of some of these elements here. One thing I don't like is right off the bat is the triangle. So I definitely want to kind of alleviate some of that. So I believe if you can see, you have your cylinder shapes and your regular polygon, whatever box. And for everything else, you have your frequency. You look at these rows of stuff here, shapes, and you can kind of see what's existing on our surface here, and everything that's kind of in our library, which is on, which is off, what you want to use, and how much control you want for your random surface rotation, excuse me, your frequency, etc., etc., etc. So tons and tons of stuff to do here. I'm actually going to zero this out because I'm not really digging what's going on here. And I think what we can do, there's really a lot to this here, is you have your frequency per shape as well. So let's say your bars, you can toy around with that, surface rotation, element rotation. It goes on and on and on. So, if you have a moment, check it out. It's really going to bring a lot of life into what we're doing here. And so I think with that, we can probably play around with some of these shapes here. I think if we go up to where am I trying to see here? I believe, yeah, our base here. You can see that it kind of took our base, which oddly was named base, and just kind of pushed everything outwards. I think if you wanted to turn that off, you could. So you could work with your original geometry, and but you could still work with the Greebler. I like the base on. I think we could definitely kind of play around with the size of it. Just give it a little bit of extrusion, a little bit of life. As you can see, it does beveling for you as well, so it kind of helps add to that as well. And I dig it, man. It's a really cool plugin. So you can also see you can do custom greebles. I think probably upload your own here. So shapes library, your bars. I think you could probably do the same here. So really cool stuff. So, let's play around with that. And I think, certain things kind of like these circles I'm not really digging a lot. Definitely like something a little bit more linear. Maybe add a little more to our surface here. So I think we're going to want to go up to the top here and yeah, here we go. The max greebles per polygon. So, I think it also matters is since these two are pretty large polygons, I think you could probably make some knife cuts and break that up and get a little more diversity in that. So that looks pretty cool. Definitely digging it. And cool. And so I think that's pretty much going to wrap up everything. Let me turn this off here. And, I also want to thank Digital Tutors because this is actually going to be a two-part series. So what we're going to do basically in the next round, which I believe is slated for the next, right after this one comes out. But we're going to work on keyframing our turret and really getting some cool animation in there, and just basically get some simple texturing going on, some grime and whatnot, and kind of plopping it into an environment, and basically just creating a complete shot with this guy. So stay tuned. We're going to be definitely doing a lot more with this stuff, but we have our model now, and I definitely look forward to our next lesson, our next scheduled curriculum, if you will, to get this guy into a completed shot. So once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you next